I am no man.
So guys, it's been an avalanche of really strange news in the world of entertainment this week, and I want to talk about some of those right now. So first of all, we have Lenny Henry. Yes, that really unfunny British comedian. He's going to be playing a Black Hobbit. Like, that's a groundbreaking thing to even talk about, but it is, according to Mr. Henry. So Amazon have made their version of Lord of the Rings. This is set 1,000 years before the superior Peter Jackson films, which began in 2001. And Lenny Henry had some very strange takes on it this week. It's very bizarre. More stronger female characters within this series. Now, to me, this is very disingenuous coming from Henry, who made a living in the 70s as a comedian, and I'll probably put that in parentheses, imitating his own race of people. Only the white folks, I guess, found really funny. So for him to say that and just ignore what went on in the Peter Jackson films, I mean, you had Galadriel, you had Arwen, and you had Eowyn, badass females. But I guess it's convenient for him to forget about those and just move on with whatever they've got lined up for this Amazon series. I'm not interested in watching this series because basically when you think about it, our money paid for it. You know, our Prime membership, the amount of goods we've ordered online, all gone towards the coffers of Amazon to make this over-budgeted and overinflated series. Personally, I wish it the worst of luck because it won't have any good luck, that's for sure. And I just hope it gets buried in the pits of hell within Middle Earth. Watch the Peter Jackson movies, the original trilogy. Those are the best because when I went to watch those at the cinema back in the day, as a person of colour, I never stepped inside the Odeon auditorium and said to myself or aloud, get those white boys off because they don't represent who I am. The thing I subscribe to is just enjoying a film, a video game or a comic book. If I see anything disingenuous, I will of course call it out as long as I have a reason to do that. Now in other news this week, Jonathan Kent, the brand new Superman, came out as bisexual. He joins the club along with Tim and Bobby Drake, Iceman and Robin respectively. Congratulations. That's probably all I can say on that one. I've had a back and forth with this with a friend of mine in America, and I think the conversation gets lost in translation most of the time with him. I love the guy, but you know, he's all for it. Like, yeah, you know, you should come in here and make well-known characters have a different identity, blah, blah, blah. But I've actually said to him, no, you can bring in brand new characters, LGBTQ+, bring in brand new characters into that universe, it's fine. But to me, there's no rhyme or reason or logic that you've got to make an existing character turn a different way, especially if they've been established for so long in the public psyche. That's how I feel personally. But then to me, it also, I think the message is that the comic book company in question, in this case DC, does not care about their readership. I mean, they pretend to care, but they don't really care. I just roll my eyes at it. It doesn't mean anything to me whatsoever. I don't read comics these days. I mean, look, when I go to MCM Comic Con next week in London, I'm going to be raiding the boxes for retro comics. I'm going to be rubbing them in your face saying, this is what you need to read, folks. And seriously, there are better comics to read from years gone by. I think the last time I saw fans being serviced in the way that was agreeable with everybody was Image Comics. When you had Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee, Will Spatacchio, Rob Liefeld, all those guys who formed Image Comics, and they gave the fans what they wanted. Awesome comics, awesome artwork. They probably gave a bit too much sometimes, but I don't mind. And you'll never get that sort of fandom again. You might get it through Kickstarter, what have you, but yeah, it was just one of those things. So good luck to Jonathan Kent. I just think it's a ploy just to up the sales of that character. But you know, Chuck Dixon, the guy behind many Batman stories, he thought it was laughable as well. I saw an interview with him this week, and you know, the guy made some really good points. Now, if you want to read about a superhero who comes out, I suggest you check out Alpha Flight 106. Now, this was a series created by Marvel. It was the Canadian version of the X-Men, but since they couldn't have that franchise in the MCU at the time because 20th Century Fox held on to those rights, it probably prevented them from making a film to incorporate into the MCU at the time. So that would have been awesome to see Sasquatch, Aurora, North Star, Puck, all those guys on the big screen. I think that would have been fantastic. And I think, I mean, the reason why I mention that as well, because, you know, when North Star comes out, it's a really profound moment. It's really heartfelt. Marvel and Disney do this thing they do from time to time. They kind of forget about what's in their back catalogue of goodies, and they bring you a brand new version, which in this case is Eternals. I keep calling it The Eternals. It's just Eternals. It's getting its premiere on Monday. Well, from what I heard in the grapevine, that it's quite a pretentious film, which does not surprise me at all, because we've had this in Black Widow, then Shang-Chi. Let's face it, Simu Liu was not the star of his own film. He was shunted aside by other people who took on the spotlight, and basically I was yawning all the way through. Not the movie I hoped I was going to see. And now it's the rule of three, because it seems to be, at this moment in time, that Eternals will be an unmitigated disaster. And all I'm going to say to you is, Marvel and Disney, I told you so. Cobra Kai, now this was a show that the creators understood. It's for people of my age, the next generation coming up, people who grew up with the Karate Kid. You know, as one of the writers said, we didn't want to ruin anybody's childhood, which I think is a very valid point to make. And you can do that. You can bring back feelings. You can bring back the love for people like Johnny Lawrence, Daniel LaRusso, Creasy, all those people. They're established characters. There is no reason to bait and switch any of those characters, because we've come to know them through the films and then in the series. There's so much woke nonsense in Hollywood right now. I mean, it is so painful. It is just gut-wrenching. That's why shows like Squid Game and Alice in Borderland have become such hits, because it's the Far East, man. It's South Korea. It's Japan. They understand how to write characters, how to flesh out minor characters. It's not about being woke. It's about telling the story straight from A to Z. Nothing in the middle. It's fantastic. And that's why, again, manga comics are outselling American comics at the moment, because look, you take a trip to Forbidden Planet in London, I haven't seen anything on the shelves that I'm interested in, but I go to the manga comic section, I'm thinking, okay, if I had time, I'd read those, but I can't at the moment. I mean, I've got a lot of anime to get through as well. And that's another thing as well. The anime stuff that I've discovered recently is just insane. I mean, when I grew up with anime, it was stuff like Fist of the North Star, Crying Freeman, you know, the classics, man. And I want to go back to those at some point as well. If you're a content creator, if you're a social commentator online, get on there and challenge the woke narrative. You got to challenge it, because the more we challenge it, guys, the more hopefully Hollywood will learn that this isn't the right direction to go.
You like Speedwagon? What kind of man doesn't?
Hey, paisano! You came this far to the end of the video. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of me. Hey, I feel like I've done something that's worthwhile. But before I go, I just want to tell you one more thing. Please like the video and be like my man Wolverine. Slash the hell out of that subscribe button. And the last thing I want to say is, you doity hobos, you deadbeats, is that I'll see you on the next roundup of reviews and reactions, courtesy of yours truly. You got that? Capiche?
This is Duke Nukem. If you're looking for a douchebag to save the day, then try Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog. Alright, now where are the babes?